Okay, so for those who don't know us, yes, let me introduce myself. I'm Vladimir Abrizan, PhD in computer engineering. I'm director of Design Test Lab, and we do software engineering for customers all over the world. And today I invited Illya Bondarenko. He's a senior iOS and tvOS engineer at Design Test Lab to discuss the topic: how did he manage to start from scratch Netflix-like TV application and develop and design it and maintain it for more than 5 years. And I did some fact check previously, and I know that currently this mobile application is used by a big American company, media company, and it is used by millions of users. Yes, and the topic today's topic will be how did Ilya develop this application, and we will talk about the technology behind this mobile application. So if you expect something how to attract millions of users to your application, so we will not discuss that, yeah, because this job was done by business developers from that American company, and we did not responsible for that. Yeah, so responsibility of our company, of Ilya, was just to build technology, the mobile technology for this customer. Okay, maybe Ilya, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to meet you all. And so my name is Illya Bondarenko. I'm a senior software engineer at Design and Test Lab. I design, develop, test, and maintain OTT mobile apps and Apple TV apps.
Okay, so as this is a live event, yeah, if you want to know something more, yeah, so feel free to ask questions to the comments. Where are my comments? Yeah, hi Nazar, yes, we see you. That's just to prove that this is not pre-recorded event, but true live event, yeah. Good old pretty live event. Yeah, so if feel free to ask some questions, and from time to time I will check comment section and I will read your comments aloud. Okay, I have the first very question for you, Ilya, because first of all, I'm glad that you involved in a project which used by millions of users. Because when I started in 2011, I dreamed that someday my application will used by millions. But I worked with startups and with small businesses, and unfortunately, I cannot say that one of my applications is used by millions. Yes, so that's like, I'm glad that you experienced this. And my first question, which I never experienced, about some kind of responsibility. So if there are millions of users of your mobile application, so your engineering decisions affect experience of millions of users. So could you please tell me, what do you feel about this responsibility that if you break something, next morning millions of users will trash you in the App Store reviews?
Yeah, so of course it's a big responsibility. I remember a moment when I checked the analytics one day, and there were about 300,000 monthly active users. And then I thought, whoa, yeah. On the one hand, it means that if we implement some new feature, it means that these 300,000 users will use it. But on the other hand, it means if we make a mistake, these users will have a bad user experience and a bad mood. They will go to App Store or Google Play and leave a bad review, and then my team and I will have a bad mood. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. And by the way, what the current App Store rating for the application?
It's 4.8 by 100,000 users.
You're kidding me? That's almost impossible. So you say that 100 of users rated almost 5.
Yep, almost. And yep, that's for real. And I have checked myself this morning, so it's true.
Yeah, that's excellent result, I say.
Yes, and I would like to add something. So if we say about the product, yes, so the main purpose of creating any product is that it should bring some value. If team make a lot of mistakes and implement no needed features for users, yeah, they create a bad user experience and additional problems, nervous, stress for every user. And the worst thing is that after that, they can cancel the subscription, remove our application, and never use it again. So of course we don't bring any value with that, and so that's what I wanted to say. And yeah, you know, in addition, every employee is a part of a team. Yep.
Yep.
And if I make mistake, the whole team is responsible for it. So that why I always feel responsible. Responsible because we try to keep every user, and it would be a shame if the product loses users or my team have a bad mood. Yep. And so because of trivial errors in my code. So yeah.
Okay, my next question. You built this mobile app from scratch, right?
Yep, it's true.
I know that usually, you know, that's a bit different or a very big difference in approach when you develop some MVP from scratch and when you develop mature application with millions of users. Could you please describe what's the difference in development process for the start, for MVP, and for mature application, for millions?
Okay, so I remember that in the beginning, we tried to make MVP as soon as possible. Yeah, because it's essential to have a live product. A live product is used by people you can communicate with and listen to their opinions. Yeah, so what they would like to add, what they would like to change or fix. Yep, it's essential. So we sent new builds for testing every day. There must have been a good reason if we didn't submit builds on a particular day. So the testers would come back the next day with the test reports, and it was a really established pipeline for us. And you know, I would like to say that sending builds every day is a cool way to see how a developer is working. Yeah, I mean, if you feel that an employee, I mean, developer is a bit unfair,
good
ask
for
him
whom?
to send
For
builds
managers
every
or
day.
for employee itself?
For managers, of course, and for customers. Yeah. So ask him to send builds every day, even if they don't have finished features. In this case, the employee will have to send at least some changes, and for that he will have to add something to write some code. So yeah. And if we go
I
back to
think
your question,
hundreds of developers will not choose you as a manager after these
yeah,
words.
maybe yes, maybe yes. So, and if we go back to your question, I mean, return back to your question. So, after half a year, we released the first working version, and it was awesome. And to be honest, you know, we tried to write clean code, but sometimes in a hurry, programmers can create a lot of technical debts for themselves. Yep. So that was happened to me. And after the release, I tried to fix all technical debts as quickly as possible. After a while, I realized that the best way will be to develop a component-based application. That is, when every component is responsible for it works, and knows nothing about the other components. This increased testability and made it easy to add new features. After a while, the application got bigger and bigger, and the need for automated tests was critical. I think every developer has encountered a problem when he adds or fixes something in one place, and by these changes break something in another place. So because of that, we tried to cover the code with after tests to test ourselves as much as possible. And maybe one important thought is that through the process of developing and maintaining a project, we need to make time for refactoring and improvements. I think that's very important because the project is evolving. Yep, technologies and technical solutions are also evolving. To have a successful and most importantly working product, it's necessary to keep up with the times. I know a lot of clients who think that developers wrote the code once and it will work all time. Yep. Yes, this is generally true, but there are
Until
nuances.
next version of iOS.
Yeah. So there are nuances and details that many people keep silent about. Yeah. For example, as you said, the next version of iOS, yes, so operation system updates, the release of new frameworks, some frameworks, methods, and variables that may become deprecated. So if you want your product to be in a demand all the time, yeah, you need to use resources for refactoring, integrating new technologies, fixing technical debts, and so on.
Okay, thank you. So we have one question from our viewers, audience. Angela asking us, was Ilya working with the team and did the team have a project manager?
Sorry, could you please repeat? Because I can see this comment. I don't know why.
Was Ilya working with the team and did the team have a project manager? So question about the roles on the team.
Yes, of course. We have a big team. I mean, maybe I can say big team. Yeah, 12 employees. Yep, and of course we have a project manager in this team.
Yeah, and roles in like in your mobile application. So, for example, for iOS, how many people? You yourself?
Oh no, I was one developer. Yep, who is responsible for iOS application and tvOS application. Yep.
Yeah, and the second question is about so it was agile methodology or something else or some blend of methodologies.
I think it was agile methodology.
Yeah. I can second this because if you say that you produce build every day, so usually like in some robust methodologies when like schedule for a half a year, yes, usually you don't do builds every day. It's not expected.
Yes.
One more question because I was curious when you said about like evolution of the application. So during these 5-6 years, so you had only one version of application which evolved from time to time, or did you have some point in time when you throw out some version and build a new version from scratch?
Could you please paraphrase?
I mean that you evolve your application all the time, and so that the very first version you create like 6 years ago. Yeah, so that's the same version right now, and so the code was always evolving.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, because why I'm asking, because sometimes there is such approach that companies, they produce MVP. Yes, they tested that the people like it, and they hire another team that spends a year or more to build like no production grade scalable application. Meanwhile, that MVP application is used by a very small number of users, and then it just throw away. Yeah, but you said that your application evolved, yes, every day. Okay.
Yeah, as I said, we had a good MVP, and we just improve it. So we are improving it all the time.
My next question, which I was curious myself, that so when you develop application for 10 people, you can go on to talk to them about the quality, about their experience. So you can't see screens and you can't see experience of million users of your applications. How did you manage to know that all people feeling great about your application?
This is a very interesting topic. It's communication with the user, yes. Let's start with the fact that there are reviews in the App Store, Google Play, yes, and the service itself provides such an opportunity. Also, we naturally collect anonymous analytics, which helps us understand different metrics. For example, Crashlytics, Crash Analytics is the most common. Further analytics by screen, we can understand which screens exist most often and which features I use most often. I would like to share one story, if you don't mind.
I like stories. Go on.
Yeah, so I remember one story when we integrated a new feature, and a few months after its release, we found an obvious error in the code that led to a crash. Yeah, it was so obvious that
Hold
the user
on, 12 months after release.
Sorry?
12 months?
No, few months.
Few months, okay.
3 or 4 maybe months after
anyway,
release.
It's like very long period not to observe it.
Yeah, and it was so obvious because the user just had to scroll the list a little to reproduce Crash. Yep. And but the main point is that during the entire life of this feature in the release, we haven't seen a single crash in the analytics in that place.
Why?
Yep. So I don't know, because this means maybe, as I understand, that means that this function was simply not used by users. Yes.
Because it looks like an elephant in the room, and no one sees it. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. And of course we will fix this crash. Yes, and keep the feature in the application, but this case showed us that users will always show us the right direction of product development. Yes, this is what I was talking about earlier, that it's necessary, it's essential to have a live product. Yeah, make the first MVP and release it into the real testing by real users, and believe me, their feedback will be most honest.
Yeah, I'm totally agree here. Yeah, because that's exactly what I told you before the stream. Yes, that let our audience decide if we're doing great with this or not. Yeah, so you cannot judge yourself. You can judge yourself, but the final decision will be by audience. And so currently, who is like on the stream, please put plus in the comments if you like it, minus if you don't like it. Yeah. Okay, so we have one more question from comments. Again, Angela, how do you measure the value of your app? Is there any indicator for it? Same about UX. How do you decide whether UX is good or bad? Is it clear?
I think so. Active monthly users, it's the first point. How many users use? I mean, we have some analytics. How many users play any movie? Yes. How many movies was played? Movie were played. Yep. And I don't know. If users use our application, I mean, we create a good user experience and we bring some value for users. So it's a main point, I think. I don't know how can I answer.
How many money sent by customers to the platform, right?
Of course. Yes. And if we leave, we have been working for 6 or 7 years at this project, and I think if we still live, I mean, if we're still alive, so it's a good point.
Not just alive, but what I learned from news, that it's still growing. Yes, it grows year by year.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, my next question. Looking back on this 7 years experience, what was the challenging part for you?
Sorry, let me think. when you're working on a very interesting project, you don't notice the complexity of any task or problems. You have a goal to do a particular task, and you just go for it. Yep. And sometimes even I worked overtime on my own because it's very interesting for me to finish some task as soon as possible and show it to others.
Your dedication is outstanding.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks. I wish everyone to experience that kind of enjoyment from the project you work on. But I guess I can highlight supporting 4.6 version of operation system as a challenge. Yes, because some version or frameworks became deprecated. Some libraries stopped supporting older version of the operation system. Sometimes views render differently. Yep. So this had to be monitored, and we had to find solutions to handle all these things. And maybe one more difficult task as for me, but at the same moment it's very interesting. It's thinking about architecture and solutions for the implementation of new functions, features. Yep. We have always relied on the fact that the solution should be simple, scalable, and testable. And it takes a relatively long time to think through these details. But in the end, you will save a lot of money and a lot of time and money, of course. After all, a properly designed architecture entails fewer bugs in the future and less time to extend the function, the feature, and so on. So, Vladimir, that the most expensive mistakes are made at the stage of requirement specification and design. Yeah. So therefore,
me as like a serviceman. Yes, that's like the story of my life. That sometimes customer told me to do one thing, but I heard him something else, and I did opposite he wanted. And who to blame? Me. I know.
Yeah, it's true. So therefore, this is a responsible work which is worth a lot of labor, which is what we did.
Yeah, I want to add here, about these challenges, because sometimes some people could ask, okay, what's the challenge to scale application from 0 users to million mobile application? Because the actual load, like server load, like to render streams, to transfer data is on the backend. But Ilya, you're not the backend developer. What was your challenge? But the challenge with mobile application for million users is that you need to support 6 operating systems. You need to support tens of device models. Yes, it's iPhone, iPad, etc. That people use your application in weird ways. Yes, etc., etc., etc. And when you have 10 users, maybe they will not activate 80% of application. Yes, but when you have millions, it's almost impossible that they will find everything. Yes, and that's the challenge. Yes, so to achieve that, the application works well for millions of users. So it has 4.8 by 100,000 users App Store review, and it was supported just by single engineer. Yeah, so we're not Spotify, where like mobile application is developed by 20 engineers. Yeah, that's only to handle by one engineer. That's the challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That was advertisement of Ilya and his skills.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so cool engineer. Let's talk about your failures. I don't believe that you're so cool that you don't never fail.
Of course. So there is a very funny story. I think it was about 5 years ago, and to test one of the function, I had to constantly enter credentials and pass authorization. To simplify this process, I added one big button for testing, which made this process automatic. Yes. So, and as a result, I forgot to remove it before the release, and it turns out that every user could log in under a test account and watch a list of movies for free. I was lucky that this button was not on the main screen, and I don't think it was used at all. Yeah, so it was a really funny story, and I was so nervous.
Oh, you remembered me that one fun story about visual designers, and that it was a designer who got a new task to design some poster. So he opened his Adobe Illustrator with like just a blank sheet, white blank sheet, but he lost his inspiration. So he said for an hour what to do, and the first thing he put a big black word, F word, you know that word, F word, on the screen, and sat and just inspiration came to him. So he put some like images, etc., etc., and he created excellent poster. But he forgot to remove that F word from the background, and the technology they used to print that was the following: that first of all they print colors, and after that they add black color. And so they issued like 100 posters, excellent posters with big F word over the graphics. That's
I think I remember this story as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Audience, if you have some questions, again, I remember that this is a live event. Yes, I can prove it. You can write something into comments and I will answer that. Yeah, so please feel free to ask something, me or Ilya. Meanwhile, you're thinking, let's go further. That please share your experience, share your advice to younger Ilya or younger people who just started their career as iOS developers or who just started building OTT streaming applications. What's your advice?
What an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe learn the terminology related to the project. That's the first and basic thing to do. I think every developer has read Eric Hama's book. Yes, and there's the first point is to communicate in the same language. And he doesn't mean English or Ukrainian. He means understanding of terminology, understanding of function, names of variables, something like that. So this is very important, and it will help a lot when communication in a team. The second point, learn and use programming patterns. It's important not just to know the names and what they do. It's important to understand how they work from the inside. What's the problem? What's the problem? One moment, sorry. What's the problem they can solve? Yeah, resolve. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
Yeah, and why you should use this pattern and or another pattern, yes, and in what specific cases. They help a lot to keep code simple, scalable, and testable. I also can advise to write automated tests, even if your manager don't allocate time and resources for it. Yeah, this is first of all a test of yourself. The fewer mistakes you make, the better it is for you. And as I mentioned earlier, it's very important, yes, it's essential to have a live project that is already in stores and is used. That's why you don't need to perfect every detail of the project. It's better to release a simple working version, understand what users need and add new features and improve the old ones, yes, step by step. Therefore, make MVP as soon as possible and send it to for real testing by real users.
Yeah, because usually users they like push you. Because
Yeah,
for example,
it's true.
if you have non-published application in repository, so you don't have motivation to improve that.
Yes, and it creates a good mood for the team. Yeah, if you know that your project is alive, yep, and it's really essential.
That's it was such saying that write your code in such a way that end users knows your home address.
It's interesting thing.
Yeah, that they just don't will trash you in App Store reviews, but they can go home and talk to you personally. Hey, what did
Nice.
you do to the new version of application? It's so laggy, it's so slow. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Um, maybe we already like 30 minutes live, and maybe the last question from me, and I hope our audience will ask something what they're interested in. My question is like, what skills and knowledge needed to handle such level of development?
Of course, when you have experience, it's cool, and of course, it gets some result, a good result, I can
Easy
say.
to say after like 8 years of experience, yes? Say that to junior developers.
Yeah, yeah, but if you're a beginner, you just follow the advice from of those who already have some experience.
You mean yourself, yeah?
A little bit, yes.
Sorry, like, can I have your autograph? Please sign your image.
Maybe after our streaming. Yes. So I can advise to spend more time on design before starting to implement any features. Always think about scalability, simplicity, and testability. This is what I was talking about earlier. Yes, after all, a developer never knows how much the customer will want to extend the product. What else? Use design patterns, of course. They will help to achieve all of the above. After test, like I said, will help a lot in testing yourself. Yes, but don't write after test just to have them. Use tests as a real tool to check yourself, to check the quality of your project. I also can highlight continuous learning. Technologies are developing, and new solutions can be found for one task, for example. Constantly learning something new is a necessary thing nowadays. And of course, research user experience. As I said earlier, users will get you the most honest feedback about the quality of your product. That's all.
Yeah, because we maybe highlighted this 3 or 4 times that you have two options. First, sit and dreaming about excellent results, yes, and hallucinating about how it's cool application, or go show it to end users and they will tell the truth. Yeah.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more comment from Dmitro. Dmitro is from our alma mater, Kharkiv National University of Radio Electronics. Hello, from my experience during project's lifetime, there is some point where idea of redesign comes along. Developers see this as an opportunity to solve some technical debt, refactor and rewrite some blocks completely. What's your thoughts on that? Is redesign phenomenon sign of poor planning, or is it inevitable?
Yes, I agree with that fact. I did the same thing. So if we had some redesign, I spent some time to fix my technical debts, to improve my code, refactoring, something like that. And I think we have to do it in this way. Yes, so it's a good point.
Yeah, I remember from my experience that usually, that you do the project, you forgot about some risks. Yes, you like behind the schedule, and here comes the customer says, "Hey, I got such cool idea. Let's add one more function," and myself, oh yeah, so sure, let's add 5 more functions because I will create a new schedule and all my all my code issues I will put there. Yeah, so I like have like more time to fix everything. Yes, to learn from it.
I mean, it's a good way, yes, and it's necessary to spend this time in the correct way. Yes. It really fix this technical depths issues and improve your code. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Because if you got this chance, don't waste it. Yeah.
Yes, and when you will estimate a task, just add 1-2 hours more than you expected.
I remember one more pattern in like relations between managers and developers. Sometimes developers ask, okay, that's like the application is written so poor, let's rebuild it from scratch, etc. And my first question to such developers, are you sure you will do this better than previous developer? Yeah. So there is always risk that you will start do something from scratch. You can do with the same level quality or even worse.
Yes, and I would like to add something. I said I told that I decided to build application in component based thing. So in this case, you just redesign one thing, and it make it easier to fix something when you will redesign a related screen, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So just use this way. I mean, component-based application.
Okay, so we ended up agenda. Ilya, maybe a few words to our listeners, viewers, audience.
I don't know. Write clean code, yes. Learn something new, and bring some value.
Follow Ilya on LinkedIn.
Sorry?
Follow Ilya on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can follow me. You can follow
Vladimir,
our Design and Test Lab page, and feel free to ask our something.
Yeah, I love that, Ilya. I believe that's a really great experience. Yes, because it's such like a big project. Yes, with such a big amount of users. So we don't need to. You don't need like to lower impact what you did. Yeah, so that was a very big project, and you like excellent engineer. Yeah, so maybe one of the best engineers I worked with. Yeah. Okay, so here is some. My team says me that we missed some questions. Sorry for that, because again, I'm for those who connected recently, that's my very first experience streaming on LinkedIn. Previously, I have like several years of experience streaming on YouTube, and LinkedIn is not so mature platform right now. Okay, thank you, Victoria, for pointing this out. That Nazari asked, how do you plan migration to new technologies on such a big project?
I don't know, step by step. So just need to understand that.
Okay, maybe example, migration from Objective-C to Swift. I think that's a very big migration. So, what the time frame to complete that? Like this months, years?
I don't know. It depends of the project, and we have to do it step by step. Yes. So the technologies, I mean, new technologies, didn't create at the one moment. Yes. So if you didn't spend time for that, it will be like a difficult task. Yeah, for your team. But if you just will check something use and just spend some time to try yes to use it, I don't think that it can be like a big problem. So step by step, and check some news about technologies. Check some every time in our project we must, I can say, yes, we had to check every month every release notes to understand what happened. I mean, what was added to this framework, for example, to be I mean, to understand what we need to do next. Yeah, because sometimes I remember we had some issues when framework said, okay, starting from since this moment, we stop supporting this feature, for example, and we said, oh my God, what do we need to do next? So,
okay, next question. When to adopt new technology? So, I mean, for example, imagine that next morning you open news and you see, okay, Swift version 1.2.3 is there. So, you're going to adopt it right now, or you will wait for some period of time? How do you do that?
I think will be better to wait some time. Of course, you have to speak about that, ask about that your manager, your team. Yes, and I think the manager or product owner should decide it when you need to implement something new. I wanted to say something, but I forgot.
You can follow up in comments after the stream, you know.
Yeah, of course, need to think over, and yes, and will be better to wait some time. When you check Stack Overflow, yeah, that or bug issue reports, when you understand that you can use this technology.
Okay, good. One more question from Bogdan. How much do you cover the code by unit tests? Do you write a lot of UI tests?
I didn't write. Oh, so okay, we had some experience of writing UI tests, but they are running so long, and we decided to use only unit tests. My code coverage was, if I remember correctly, almost 18%.
18 or 80?
80%.
So 80, yeah.
Yes.
Almost, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, 80. And yes, and I have created some component. Okay, of course, we use the mock server. Yes, and I have created some extensions to check UI elements using UI unit tests, and it helps us to check screens. Yes, and as I said, we decided to use base component things. Yes, and in this case, it was easy to cover component step by step. Yeah, and make this code coverage. I mean, make this value of code coverage.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And Vika, could you please help me to check if we have more comments? Because I know what's the problem. I see that like my stream is like behind 20 to 30 minutes behind the reality. That's why I don't see any comments. I see only past comments. That's maybe some issue with LinkedIn. So Vika, if you say we don't have any more comments, then thank you, Ilya. Yes, I know that's how.
Thank you too.
Yeah, so how it's like hard to go live in English with such hard questions from me. And thanks all to our audience. Yes, so please like put some comments, leave some feedback, because you know even like small comment will give us more motivation to continue like next week with more people, with more topics. Yeah, so I wish. Vika told me that it's pretty bad with comments. And one more question from Bogdan. Do you already use Swift UI on this project?
On this project, no, but I spent some time to check Swift UI. I think since for now we can start use for simple applications. And I think we will use it in near future, of course, because it's really comfortable for me, and this React things. Yes, I like it.
Okay, I hope it was the last question. So thank you everyone. Have a great evening or great morning for people who join us